Facebook Live, Facebook Live. Peace.
Peace.
Back at it again. Thursday, Mindgasm. How you feeling today, Brother Mar?
Hey, bro, I'm here, brother. I'm
We're
here.
We here. It's stormy weather, but the stormy weather don't stop the show.
Yes. Look, rubbing them hands like bird, man.
Right. Hopefully everybody in the Charlotte, Salisbury area, all the surrounding areas is all right. Going through this little, thunderstorm, tornado watch, and everything's been going on all day. So today we just freestyling. Did anybody send you any questions or anything?
No, I ain't have any inboxes today, so shoot, it is what it is, bro. We do it how we do it every week.
Do it how we do it every week. So this week, one of the things that was on my mind, of course, everybody knows about the passing of Kobe Bryant. One thing that I want to touch on is there's too many conspiracy theories. Yeah, I said it. There's too many conspiracy theories. And some of y'all that know me, y'all know that I'm the king of conspiracy theories. Ever since like 91, 92, Ralph Everson, New World Order, The Unseen Hand by Ralph Everson, Illuminati 666. It's just too many. And I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about this. Because it's a distraction. Because as long as you worrying about some conspiracy theory, some end of the world type of information, you're not focusing on your goals. You're not focusing on yourself. Those stories, the international bankers, trust me, I know them all. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the J.P. Morgans, Illuminati and hip hop, all those things just distract you from reaching your goals. You're sitting there focusing on numerology, astrology, why this person died, why this is going on, and you're not focusing on what you need to be focused on, which is reaching your goals. What you think about that, Mom?
Man, look, I totally agree. Look, first of all, hit the share button. Hit the share button, get as many people as we can here today. Once again, it's the Thursday Mindgasm. This is for y'all. It's to help us. This is therapy for me. Trust me, I need this more than you do. But look, hit that share button. Let's get some people in the room.
Hit that share button. Share this video, y'all. Yeah.
So, anytime you are focusing on something that is not or doesn't directly affect you, you are pretty much buying into the system. I'll put it just that simple. Here's a young man and a whole bunch of people that lost their life. I'm sorry to hear that, but at the end of the day, you've got to stay focused on you. Those people are gone. Rest in peace to them. But ultimately, you have got to focus on what you have going on. Distractions come in many different forms, many different shapes. This is just another one. So what are you doing right now to get focused? What are you doing to stay focused? That's what this is about.
Right.
This is about making sure you are setting the goals, obtaining those goals, making sure they're obtainable goals. I'm a firm believer that when you set goals, that your goals should be so big that they scare you. If they're not, if your goals are not that big, then you need to redo it. You need to redo it. Your goals should scare you. That's how big you should be thinking. So don't limit yourself, man. We limit ourselves so much. We set these small goals and these little small things that we think we can achieve, and when we fail, we take big failures off small goals, right? If I'm gonna take a big failure, you best believe it's gonna be off a big goal.
Right.
It's gonna be off something that even if I miss it, I'm still gonna accomplish something.
Right.
So don't get caught up in the distractions, y'all. Get focused.
Right. Because all it is doing is planting fear in you. You, whether you know it or not, you fall into the trap of getting into all these conspiracy theories. And I'm not saying this stuff isn't true. Some of it. But what I'm saying to you is don't get caught up emotionally invested in it, because then you're going to be giving all these conspiracy theories your emotional energy, and that same energy that you're using on that, you could be using on yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you sitting here wasting your time thinking about the end of the world, the dollar declining, we going into a cashless society. All these things was written about in the 90s. And that's what I said. I've been a conspiracy theorist since then. And I'm not going to even get into all the conspiracies. But trust me, I've heard them all. The weather machine, HARP. Every couple of years, you notice they playing fear in you with a new vaccine or a new disease, the swine flu, the cow flu, Ebola. Now it's something new. All for you to, focus your attention on things that don't really have anything to do with you.
Nothing.
And if they're affecting someone that you know, someone near you, they really don't have anything to do with you. And when you focus your attention on something that has nothing to do with you, when you could be focusing your attention on setting your goals, planning your goals, reaching your goals, you're wasting your time. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, we're wasting our time out here. And Kobe Bryant, that's showing proof enough that time is not promised for no one. So that's what I want to talk about. I see Milgo, peace to Milgo out there. Milgo said define the system. Marlon, you want to define the system?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on which system we're talking about.
That is true.
If we're talking about the system in which tends to keep us more bound, here again, I mean, Milgo, I need more definition on that. There are a whole lot of different systems we can get into.
Right.
Be more definitive with that, and I'll touch on that.
We got the systems in the body. You got your respiratory system. You got all the different.
We got the criminal system.
We got
plenty of systems.
Got plenty of systems out there.
Look, most importantly, if you got questions about anything, drop them in there. We're gonna hit on them tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, I'll tell you one thing for me, man. The past probably 45 days have been a little rough because I've been going through some things in my business. Mm-hmm. And one thing I came to the conclusion tonight was that your situation shouldn't determine your happiness.
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
Your happiness should not be determined by the amount of money you have.
Right.
How work is going.
Right.
Or things like that. Your happiness is determined by you. You have the power to be happy, no matter what's going on.
Right.
And for somebody like me who is money driven, money has a way of doing this for me. It can cause my mood swings to go like this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I realize that, I'm starting to understand that that's not right. Your life shouldn't fluctuate off of something, but that's energy, right? So you should your happiness should be determined by you. You have the power to be happy through whatever situation you're going through. You have the power to be happy, to put a smile on your face, to walk around and be able to greet people with a handshake and a grin. To be able to hug your family and kiss them and tell them you love them no matter what you're going through.
Right.
That's happiness.
Happiness. And that's what it's about. Love, peace, and happiness. At the end of the day, that's what everybody is searching for. And, like Marlon would say, you can't let the amount of... You're never going to have... Jay-Z and Beyonce is still looking for money. They're still trying to make more money. There is no set amount. Mm-hmm. So if you're basing your happiness on how much money you have or you don't have, you're going to always be unhappy.
Yep.
Your happiness should be in what you accomplish. You putting yourself in a position where you set a goal, something that you think that will make your life better, make your life more happier. Mm-hmm. Put your energy and attention towards planning and doing something about that goal and reaching that goal. That's how you get to a state of bliss, to a state of happiness. You can't base your happiness on another person. You can't base your happiness on another thing. If I buy a car, I'm going to be happy. If I buy a new house, no, you can be miserable in a brand new house.
Because what happens once you achieve those goals? Where does the happiness go? Where does it go?
Where does it go? You know what I mean?
Where does it go?
Happiness has to be defined with you, and it's always going to be obstacles in our way. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be, it's the way that we react to those obstacles that's going to define our happiness, and it's going to define us. So today, basically, Marlon, I guess is about energy. What you put your energy into is what you, if you feed the wrong forces, if you're not feeding something that's going to benefit you, those are the wrong forces. Yep. You have to spend your time. A lot of times, we spend our time, and you always hear me talking about this, in our subconscious mind, in our subconscious thoughts. We spend a lot of time thinking about what could have been, old things from the past that have bothered us, old relationships. Oh, I had some money and I lost it. If you had some money then, you can get it back.
You can get it back.
Don't cry over spilled milk, as they say. Don't spend too much time in a negative, because it's going to be hard for you to transform that into something positive. Notice I said the word transform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you have to start, it always starts in your mind. It always starts. That's why I said trance, because trance is what, everyone knows that I deal with as far as meditation, trance, and hypnotherapy. So you have to put yourself in a state where the only thing you're thinking about is accomplishing and reaching your goals.
Energy is what? It is always what? Transferred, right?
Right.
It never disappears, right?
Can't be created nor destroyed.
It's constant. Energy is constant. But the one thing that happens, like you said earlier, what you focus on grows. If you're focusing on negative things, guess what's going to grow?
Right.
The negative things. If you're focusing on positive things, the positive things are going to grow.
Right.
Energy is constant. You have to be very, very conscious on what you give your energy to.
Right.
Right? Here again, like we were talking earlier, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how there's a yin and a yang,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a positive and there's a negative. There's always an up and a down.
Right.
So you have to be very conscious on how you give your energy, who you give your energy to. Those situations, those people around you, all that's energy. All of that's energy. You have some people that come, we call them energy vampires.
Yeah, there's something.
Only time they show up is, well, you know what? They'll deposit more than they'll take from you sometimes. Sometimes they'll deposit all that negative stuff on you, right?
Right.
They call you on the phone. Oh, I got this going on. Oh, it's always something negative. And here you are sitting on the phone doing what? Soaking all that up.
Soaking
right?
it all in.
You got to learn how to turn those energy vampires off.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn how to get off that. Look, I'm sorry. I ain't got time for it today. Right? You got to learn how to control your energy. Energy is powerful, man. It's powerful. It's a touch. It's just like a touch, right? If the wrong person touches you, feel it. That's energy.
Right.
Learn how to control your energy.
Right. Because, if you don't control your energy and you feed in the wrong forces, you're not going to get what you want out of life. So it's all about, what I was thinking about when you was talking is about how people set their own limitations. Your limitations that you put on yourself is based upon your belief. It's based upon your thoughts. So if you think certain things are not going to happen, you can't do certain things, I can't accomplish certain things, you're feeding the wrong energy. Mm-hmm. Because by feeding that energy, it's going to grow. And then guess what? Whatever you said you can't do, you won't be able to do because you've been feeding the wrong energy.
Exactly.
A lot of times when you read self-help books and they talk about mindset, mindfulness, and accomplishing your goals, they want you to imagine and think of your goal as if it's already completed. Mm-hmm. Think of your goal, whatever goal you have in your mind. When you imagine and you meditate and you think about your goal, I want you to think about it as if it's already been completed. Think about how happy, how fulfilled, how satisfied you will be by reaching and accomplishing your goal. By doing that, you put your subconscious mind into action, where your subconscious mind is going to start working on ways to accomplish achieving that goal. That's the power of your subconscious mind. Remember, I said the subconscious mind is just a machine. Milgo was talking about systems. Well, that's one system in your body, is the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind does whatever you tell it to do. Mm-hmm. So if you tell your subconscious mind that you can't do something, or you're limiting yourself, or you're setting small goals for yourself instead of big goals, then you're going to get what you asked for. It's really that simple.
Nobody has ever succeeded off potential alone. Potential means nothing. It takes action. Action is energy, right? That's effort, right? Nobody has ever succeeded off potential.
Right.
And even a marriage has never really succeeded off potential. right? Everything has to have action behind it, right? Positive action, right? Step out on the ledge, jump,
Right.
jump. That's
Right.
energy, right? That's the type of energy I'm talking about, man. My energy as an entrepreneur, man, I have a habit of leaping first and figuring it out later. It works for me, right? Because I understand I start with the end in mind. I know where I'm going. I'll figure out how to get there. Eventually, I will figure out how to get there. I know where I'm going. I already got my destination, my GPS. I can set my GPS in my mind. I'm going to get there. Jump. This is for somebody, man. This is for an entrepreneur that's watching this right now. Jump. You've been waiting too long. Jump. Go. You'll figure it out, I promise.
Right. What they say, scared money don't make money.
Scared money don't make no money.
You got to put yourself out there sometimes and just sacrifice sometimes, for the good. Because if that's something you really want, then you got to put yourself out there to get it. It's not going to come easy. Like you said, potential energy. In science, they talk about potential energy and kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is where you actually have to move and do something about it. Potential energy alone is not going to do anything but just sit there and be potential.
That's it.
You actually have to do something towards your goal. Stop waiting for, a lot of times they taught many of us and many people, taught our family and our ancestors that came before us, they taught us to wait for the pie in the sky.
Wait for the perfect opportunity.
Seize the opportunity. There is no perfect opportunity.
There is no perfect. Now you can make any opportunity perfect.
Right.
Big difference.
Right.
Big difference.
Right.
Once again, shoot them questions, y'all. This is for y'all. Look.
Shoot them questions. We just sitting here building, chopping it up with y'all. Strategizing. A lot of things that we talk about, we go through as well. We're not just saying this for y'all. We're saying this for us. We're saying this for everybody because we all have work to do if we want to change the mindset, if we want to change our communities.
And it starts with each one of us.
Right.
By all means.
Right.
By all means. Man, and one thing I can honestly say, I was talking to my kids before I left the house too. And and I was talking to them about being selfish. And as we were growing up and we were younger, we were always taught that being selfish was the worst thing you could possibly be, right? You got to share your toys.
Right.
You got to make sure. No. Selfishness is the best part of being you, right? That's self-love. That's self-care.
Self-preservation.
Right? Self-preservation.
Right.
Right? Until you are 100% on the inside, how can you help somebody else?
Right.
You have to be selfish to a point to where you understand that you have to be the person that you want everybody else to see. That you want everybody else to want to be around. That you want to be until you can be the person that can actually afford to help somebody.
Right.
That's selfishness.
Right.
Learn how to be selfish. It's time to get selfish for a little bit.
Right.
It's time to pull back. It's time to understand that it's okay to love yourself first before you love somebody else. It's okay to not want to share everything, meaning you ain't got to give every dime out your pocket to your family just because they're calling. You don't have to do all of that. It's time to be selfish. Get yourself together. It's 2020, y'all. And trust me, a lot of us ain't getting no younger. Right? I read something the other day. It says that the average man doesn't reach his full potential. Excuse me. Doesn't start to reach his full potential until his 40s.
I read that too.
Right? His 40s. So that means a lot of us, I'm 47. Excuse me, I'm 46. I'll be 47 next month.
Okay.
So I'm 7 years in the game. And I'm late. I'm late to the game. I ain't gonna lie. I'm late to the game. So these talks are to help some of you guys that might be 35. You might be 56. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Never too late. Most of the millionaires in the United States did not reach millionaire status till their late 40s. It's not too late. How did they do it though? Mindset change.
Right.
Something changed in their mind that stopped them from doing the same thing they were doing in their 20s and their 30s. They learned something.
Right.
They learned a lot of lessons, and it probably cost them a lot of money to learn,
Right.
but they learned something.
Right.
And they took those lessons to heart and they applied them. That's the one thing that we have a hard time doing. We have a hard time sitting back saying, you know what? Dang, ouch, that hurt.
Right.
I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that again.
Right.
Some of us keep kicking against the prick, like my dad used to say.
Mm-hmm.
Kicking against the prick over and over and over and over again. Keep busting the same sore wide open. It's time to close some of them doors.
Yeah.
Close some of them old wounds. Move on.
Right.
And I know, and look, I know we're rambling on tonight, man. But look, this is a free session.
Right.
We're wide open.
Right. And it's about learning from your mistakes. If you've been living 30, 40 years and you can't recognize what mistakes you've made, hey, I don't know what to say. Like, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you're not a dog.
Nah.
You got to learn what you did wrong so you can fix those things so you can go on. That's what life is about when you get a certain age. Learn from your mistakes. There's no rule book on raising kids, on saving money. They don't teach us that in school.
Nah.
They don't teach us anything that we need, really, in our adult lives in school. What y'all don't understand is in school, they trained us. You train an animal. You train a dog to sit. It's the difference between educating someone and training someone. Mm-hmm. You train someone to push a button. You train someone to do something a certain type of way. You train someone not to think, just do it this way. Mm-hmm. And back to what Marlon was saying in regards to being selfish, a lot of us spend a lot of our time, and there's some good people out here, but we spend a lot of our time trying to save the world, trying to save your family, trying to save your loved ones around you, but you do not spend any time saving yourself.
Exactly.
You cannot love someone else until you love yourself. You cannot save anyone else if you are not saved yourself. And I'm not talking in a religious aspect here. When I say saved, I'm talking about saving yourself, thinking about your needs, your wants, and your desires, and taking care of yourself. Mm-hmm. Self-preservation. Mm-hmm. Making sure that you are happy, making sure you have love, peace, and happiness in your life. A lot of times we spend, thinking that it's our duty to make other people happy, when at the same time, when you get alone, you're not happy with yourself.
Ooh, wait. Mm-hmm. Come back. Hit that again.
A lot of times we help others, and I'm not quoted to say, but
go back to the love part though. When
you can't love someone else unless you love yourself first.
And then you said the part that got me right, because I'm glad you hit that when you said it's not your responsibility to make somebody what love you. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of people gonna miss that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of people gonna miss that. Right. See, there's this thing called unconditional love. Right. And that's when you truly love somebody, it's supposed to be unconditional, right? Mm-hmm. But do you realize how many people have conditions on love? Right.
They got stipulations.
They
got a check sheet.
Oh, if he don't buy you flowers, he don't love you.
Right. That's coming up soon too.
Ooh. if he don't pay for your nails to get done, he don't love you. Right. Mm-hmm. If he don't pay for your car payment, he don't love you. Excuse me.
Right.
If he or she doesn't do this or that, they don't love me.
Right.
Those sound like conditions to me. Where's the unconditional love? Unconditional love says no matter what happens, no matter how things go, no matter how things are done, you still love the person. That's unconditional. Right. That's a parent. A parent to a child is probably the best version of unconditional love you can give. Right. But for some odd reason, when we grow up and we get in relationships, we lose that. We lose the meaning of what unconditional means. Right? Because now we find ways to be upset with each other and feel like we don't love each other because this and that didn't happen. Right. That's not unconditional. That's love with conditions.
That's love with a lot of conditions. And a lot of times, and I think I touched on this the last Thursday, not the last time we was on, I touched on this, is a lot of times it's your subconscious programming that stops you. There's that little chatter from your subconscious that stops you from getting on a higher level of elevation or love with your mate. Because you're saying stuff like Marlon is saying. Well, if they don't pay my car payment, they don't love me. If they don't hug me in the morning, they don't love me. If they don't do this no.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like love is a high degree of understanding. But in order for you to understand someone else, you got to understand yourself first. You got to know what your own triggers are. You got to know what your own setbacks and bad qualities and positive and negatives are about. You know, it's about, this is why we call it the knowledge of yourself. If you don't know yourself, then how somebody else, who's going to know you better than yourself? You know what you're saying in your mind and nobody else can hear but you. You know how you're feeling. Unless you tell someone how you're feeling, no one knows how you're feeling but you. Some people can look at you, the expression on your face, and they can look at your body language, but no one knows how you're feeling, only you. No one can read your mind but you.
And everybody has a different love language. Now that's what's hard for people to understand. What I consider love, you may not consider love, right? I mean, so it's you. That's where the communication comes in between you and your mate. You know, you have to explain to them what do you consider love? How do you consider being loved as being loved? Right? Don't allow them to try to figure that out, because if you're trying to let somebody figure out how to love you, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna get a very, very, very condensed version of what you really want. You're gonna just take bits and pieces of, like you said, from that programming, right?
Right.
In your mind, you've got 1,000 things that registers as love. And if a person hits 2 or 3 of those, guess what your mind says? Oh, he loves you. Or she loves you. Right? So you've got to understand that you have got to be able to express those things to your mate. You got to be able to tell your mate, oh, you know what? I like to be held in the morning. I like this. I like that. Those are the things, those are the conversations you have to have in order to continue to build that love and that trust and everything else attached to it.
Right. And not only, you know, a lot of times when you bring up the word love, we talk about your children, you talk about your relationships, but also love what you're doing. A lot of times we spend most of our lives in dead-end jobs, hating our jobs, hating our lives, and that's going to turn around and hurt your relationships, hurt other aspects of your life. Find something that you love to do, that you truly are, because if you love to do it, you're going to be consistent with doing it, just like it's a habit. Instead of focusing on bad habits, let's focus on good habits. What do you want to do with your life? What do you have your focus on? What is something you want to complete?
Yep.
Have a love for yourself so much that you're going to put 100% of yourself into whatever endeavor, whatever thing that you're thinking about, whatever goal that you put on your mind.
I tell my business clients, turn your passion into a profit.
Turn your passion into a profit. That's, in essence, that's what I'm doing. You know, my passion was always been psychology, the mind, how the mind works, meditation, bettering yourself. I worked in mental health since 99. I started working in mental health in Philadelphia. Worked from 99 to 2005. But I love helping people. I love working with the kids. I love working with the adults that I work with. So you got to have a love for what you're doing, you know, because like we said, life is short. Find something that you love, and it's going to make your whole life excel and be different. Make your whole life being beneficial instead of you feeling like I'm just paying bills. I'm just coming home, paying bills, not doing anything with my life. You know what I mean? Because that's when the depression sets in. That's when the anxiety sets in. That's when that negative subconscious program is going to kick in when you don't have anything of substance to attach your energy to. That's why we're quickly or easily led in the wrong direction, as we say, by focusing our attention on things that is not going to help us prosper, that's not going to help us reach our goals.
Fear.
Fear.
Fear. That's what that is. Fear. Fear is the number one thing that keeps most people from what?
Mm.
Even setting a goal.
Mm.
The fear of success is very prevalent.
Right.
Right? Won't even set a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Afraid to dream, afraid to think so big that I mean, listen, like I told you when we first started out, if your goal doesn't scare you, it's not big enough.
Mm.
You are limiting yourself. If you're thinking about setting a goal right now, and right now you're comfortable with it being, let's just say you're in real estate,
Mm-hmm.
and you setting a goal right now, you wanna buy 2 properties in 2 months, and that felt good to you, then you need to be trying to buy 10.
Mm.
You need to be uncomfortable, right? Because uncomfortable is where the magic happens. Uncomfortable is when that brain kicks in and it starts to try to figure things out. It has to figure things out, right? Get uncomfortable in your life. Stop being comfortable. It's time to get uncomfortable.
Right. Because usually this is just like the gym. Those exercises that you don't like to do, it's usually the exercises that you need to do.
Yep.
If you keep on working on your arms, but you don't need to work on your arms, you need to work on your abs, and you should stay working on your arms, your abs is not going to fix themselves.
Yep.
So focus your attention where you need to focus your attention in order to reach your goals. And that goes for me, that goes for Marlon, that goes for everyone listening.
Yes.
Because there's so many distractions out here, and there's so many fears in those distractions. Every distraction that, that you energize in your mind. Because when you energize a thought, what I mean by energized thought is you're giving that thought power. Now it's going to have a power over your emotions. It's going to have a power over the way you think. And it's going to have a power over the way you feel. Fear does that to you. Because in psychology, they teach you when you have response from outside stimuli, you have either 2 things that's going to happen to you, they say. Either you're going to fight or you're going to flight. You're either going to be fearful of the situation or you're going to fight back. And a lot of times, when we don't know it, Milgo was talking about systems earlier. I'm still waiting for you, Milgo. But Milgo was talking about systems. The system that we live in, as far as the media, as far as social media, is all based upon fear. What they say, false evidence that appears real. We live in social media, and I started this off talking about there's too many conspiracy theories. A lot of us spend a lot of our time, me included, scrolling your phone and getting useless information. Useless. Why is it useless? If let's say, let's talk about GMOs. Genetic modified food, for one thing. All right? This is just my example. So, conspiracy theorists said we're not eating food anymore. Everything is fake. Even the lettuce is fake, they're saying. They grow it all in a laboratory. If you sit there and worry about that, then guess what? It's going to have a negative effect on your body. It's going to have a negative effect on your mind. What people don't know is, it's just not in the food. You can have acid or alkaline thoughts. Where an acid, now remember Dr. Sabi was talking about alkaline your body, change your pH level, certain foods that you eat, drink water, electrify your body. But it's also, alkaline and acid also deals with your thoughts. If you're always angry, if you're always depressed, if you're always in a bad mood, if you're always negative, then guess what? It's going to produce acid in your body. And that acid is going to have the same destructive effect that acid, meaty foods and sugar and processed foods is going to have on you. It's going to have the same effect. Your thoughts. How do you produce alkaline thoughts? Thoughts of love, thoughts of peace, thoughts of relaxation, thoughts of focus. Not letting any of the negative stimuli affect you.
Man, some of us focus on the same thing every month and don't even realize it. Focusing on thinking about how we're gonna pay the phone bill,
right?
Think about how we're gonna pay the cable bill.
Right.
Think about how we're gonna pay the mortgage.
Right.
The car payments.
Right.
But guess what? They get paid every single month.
Get paid every month. But you worry
What
about
you worry about
every month. So what you think that's doing in your body? It's causing acid in your body. A lot of people say, I got acid reflux. Mm-hmm. It ain't just from the food.
Yep.
It's from your thoughts.
Yep. You're worried about stuff. Here again, fear is worried about fear. Fear works off the premise that we think we can tell the future, if that makes sense, right? Because if you're fearful of something, you're expecting it to happen. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. You're expecting something to happen. We can't see the future, right? So what are you fearful of?
Right.
You don't even know if it's going to happen or not.
Right. And that goes back to the conspiracy theory mess. Because you don't know if it's going to happen or not. You don't know if tomorrow is going to be the end of the world. That's not for something you to think about. They've been teaching Marlon. You said you 46. I'm 47, right? How long, all our lives, they've been telling us about the end of the world. 1984 was supposed to be the end of the world. 1999 was supposed to be the end of the world. The year 2000, Y2K was supposed to be the end of the world. Now they're saying it's going to be two. If you sit around and think about stuff like that, you're going to be in a state of fear. You're putting acid in your body through your thoughts, and you're not accomplishing your goals because you have so much fear in you. You're like, well, why should I go to school? Why should I go to work? Why should I work on my goals if it's all going to end? You don't know if it's going to end. That's what they want you to think.
Now, how do you combat fear? You want to know?
Let's go.
Be a problem solver.
Use critical thinking.
Be a problem solver. See, most of us are really good at that, right? We're really good at solving problems.
Well, most of us can solve other people's problems.
Exactly.
And can't solve our own problems.
You want to combat fear? Write down what you're fearful of and figure out how to solve it. Figure out how to prevent it from actually happening. Because remember, fear, you're thinking it's going to happen, right? You're hoping it's not going to happen. So why don't you write it down and make sure it doesn't happen? Figure out a solution, right? How do you do that? A budget. It's the same bills every month, right? It's the same bills that you're worried about every single month.
Right.
Put a budget together. What does that do? That eliminates the fear of what? Those bills. See, there are ways around everything that we're doing. There are simple fixes for these things, right? But sometimes because they're right in front of us, we don't even think about them. Right. So whatever you're fearful of, if you're fearful of something, write it down tonight. Be honest with yourself. Write it down. Whatever it is. I mean, really sit down and feel and write down what you are fearful of. And then write down how to make sure it doesn't happen. And watch what happens to the fear. It goes away.
Nothing is permanent. It will go away. Now, D. Davis said, how do you change that fear into positive thoughts? Relaxation, my friend, is the key. If you're relaxed, you're not angry. If you're relaxed, you're not in pain. If you're relaxed, you don't have anxiety or depression. People, and Marlon was just talking about how simple it is, but people don't realize it. Relaxation is the key. The first thing that I do when I have a client and I'm trying to transform their thought patterns and their behaviors, the first thing I do is to get them to what? To relax. Focus on your breathing. Focus on the thoughts that come across your mind. Don't let certain thoughts fester and put a stamp in your mind where they're now become a part of your everyday thoughts. Relaxation is the key. That's why you tell people to meditate. That's why we do hypnotherapy, guided meditation. That's why Reiki works. Reiki works because you're relaxed while I'm doing my service. You're relaxed. And a lot of times when people sit in my chair, they're running so much, they're worried about paying the bills, Marlon. A lot of times this is their only time they get to relax. And then they say, oh, I fell asleep, because they don't sleep good at night. But the thing about what I do, I want you to fall asleep, because hypno actually means sleep. So that's when I can put those subconscious suggestions in your mind that's going to take hold and have a positive effect on your well-being. So the way you change that fear into positive thoughts is relaxing. And another thing is information and knowledge, the right information and the right knowledge.
Right. And a technique that I use with some of my clients is the fact you have to realize you have to address the fear when it arises.
Mm-hmm.
You don't continue to put it off. So whatever you're fearful of today, you address it today. You don't go to sleep on it and wake up with it tomorrow.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You
right.
address it today.
You check it.
You check it right now. When fear arises in you have to check it right then and there, because if you don't, you'll continue to carry it with you over and over and over again. That's why I said you address it. Address it tonight. Address it right now. Write it down and figure out a solution. Write down a solution for that fear. Write down what's going to happen that you will never be fearful of that same incident again.
Right.
Because once you address it one time, it doesn't come back. It doesn't come back.
But if you keep on ignoring it,
Yep.
it's going to come back. You know, a part of the word ignorant, the root of the word ignorant is ignore. If you think you're going to ignore the problem, you're going to ignore your problem, you're going to ignore your fears, and all it's going to do is you're planting it in your subconscious mind by ignoring it. You're putting it in the back of your mind. You haven't forgot about it. By putting it in the back of your mind, the back of your mind is your subconscious. Because the front of your mind is conscious and awareness. So, like Marlon said, and a jewel in what Marlon said too, also write things down. I had to learn this. Write out your plans, write out your fears, write out your day. Keep a daily journal. Do a vision board, you know, where you put in a collage, get some old magazines, get a collage of get a car, the house you want, and put certain things on your collage, put it on your room so you can always see it and keep it in mind. When you see it and keep it in mind, then your subconscious mind is going to begin to what? Work on it for you.
Man, I'm going to tell you the crazy thing you just said about that. So for the past 30 days, I got a little legal pad about this big.
Okay.
And every day I write down 3 goals, and then at the end of the day I write down how I felt about my day. Right? And I have gotten to the point where, of course, now it's a habit. So, but that has been like the most therapeutic thing for me. See, most of the stuff that we're talking about, y'all, if you really want to put this work in, you gotta put the work in. This is not something that's going to happen overnight for you, right? If you want to change your mindset, you have to be all the way in. There is no day off on this thing. There is no I'll do it 100% today and tomorrow. No, you got to be all the way in. You got to be sold out to this thing. Right. Get that journal. You know, if you're really serious about this thing, excuse me. Excuse me. If you're really serious about this thing, get you a little journal and commit to writing this thing. When certain feelings arise in you and you don't know what it is, write it down. Write down what triggered it. What triggered it. Write down what caused it. Write down how you felt. Write down how you addressed it. And I guarantee you'll start to see a pattern that you can go back and now look at and have a better understanding of yourself. But that was I liked it. That was very critical. Because trust me, it has helped me over the past 30 days tremendously.
Right. And journaling, like you said, sometimes we have the same reoccurring thoughts every month about the same bills. And if you start journaling, you can start mapping out and monitoring your own thoughts. Because sometimes your thoughts just go by you. Sometimes you don't realize you have the same thought on the same day each month.
You know that bill. Look, you know that bill due on the 17th. I guarantee you, about the doggone 12th of every month, your mind starts saying, "Man, you got to pay that bill." And now you start going, "Oh, I got to pay this bill on the 17th." Look, trust me. Start writing this stuff down, man. You gonna trip yourself out.
Right.
You're going to trip yourself out when you realize again how programmed you are.
Right. And another thing too about writing stuff down. What you put on your mind right before you go to sleep is not only what you're going to dream about, but what's going to stay on your mind when you wake up. A lot of times with my clients, after the session is over, I teach them what we call self-hypnosis or self-meditation or self-suggestion. And the reason why I do that is because I want you to understand the power of your thoughts and how you can program yourself and how you do program yourself on an everyday basis all the time and you don't even know it. So if you go to bed negative, if you go to bed worrying, first of all, you're probably not going to sleep good. First of all, you're probably going to have negative and bad dreams that's not going to feel empowering when you wake up because you're having the wrong thoughts right before you go to sleep. So what I teach people to do is to anchor positive affirmations and suggestions right before they go to sleep. Because that's what's going to take hold into your subconscious the whole 7 or 8 hours that you sleep. And when you wake up, it's still going to be fresh on your mind and ready for you to tackle it and take over and accomplish whatever you put on your mind. So writing it down is another way of anchoring it. Writing it down right before you go to sleep. What you want to do, what you want to accomplish, what you want to overcome, new habits, bad habits, old habits. Write stuff down. Get in the habit of writing your own history, as I said.
Oh, y'all thought this was easy, didn't you? You thought it was just easy. You thought you just could just change your mind just because you want to change your mind. Nope. Sorry. It's gonna take some work. Look, it took work. It took work for you to get where you are right now, whether you realize it or not.
Right. Right.
It might not have been the best work, but it took work to get where you are right now. So it's gonna take work to change, to go where you want to go. The person that you are right now is not gonna serve the person who you want to be. You have to lose this person. The person you are right now, you have to lose that person to become the person you want to become.
Right. Remember, repetition is how you change your subconscious program. You can either change your negative repetition or positive repetition. But what you put in your mind over and over and over again is what's going to stay in your mind, y'all. So if you had them negative thoughts about yourself, about others, then guess what? You're going to have a negative outlook because it's festered, it's settled in your mind. You know, you can't let certain things settle that don't belong there. If you do, then they're going to grow like a cancer and take over. So, you know, be mindful. Mindfulness is just not a word. Be mindful of your thoughts. Be mindful of your emotions. Be mindful of your fears. Be mindful of your strengths, your weakness. Just be mindful, period. Now, I'm not telling you to totally not take yourself away from worldly events and things, but I'm telling you, don't focus too much on all these conspiracy theories, on what Trump is saying. I'm going to do a video, Marlon. I might have to do a video. I was trying not to, because I tried not to focus on politics and religion. And I'm not going to do it with Marlon, necessarily. But I might have to do a video how Trump tricked all y'all, me included. Because remember I said when you focus on something and no external stimuli is distracting you, when you focus on something, you're hypnotized on it. So what Trump has done, he's gotten you to focus on. You might hate him. I didn't say you had to like it or dislike it, but if you focus so much on you're feeding the energy that made him to where he is right now. You're feeding that energy.
Look, what we say, there's a positive and there's a negative, right? And they all, and at the end of the day, it all comes about to one outcome.
There it is. There it is.
Whether you love them or you hate them, you still gave them energy.
You still gave them your energy,
right? Same outcome.
What's the next thing he gonna say? Oh, he's stupid. He don't know what he's talking. Don't do this. Don't watch him. Don't watch his speech tonight. You're feeding the wrong forces. You're feeding his energy.
Exactly.
So we got about 7 minutes. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything? Put your questions up. I'm on live too, but I don't think my live has been working because my internet problems in my house. But
Brother Davis, I hope we answered your question.
I don't see any more. But yeah, Brother Davis, hope we answered your questions. And we back at it, y'all. Thursday Mindgasm. Hit us up during the week if there's subjects y'all want us to touch on. we here, y'all. We here. Doing a service for the people, bettering ourselves and trying to better our communities at the same time.
Definitely.
Let me see. A very great friend once told me the person I used to be is gone. Had to figure out who the me I am now is. Most don't know themselves. Help them. Right. It's all about helping each other. That's one thing that we don't do. We put down each other. We don't support each other. We got to help each other, guys. Because if we don't help each other, nothing's going to get accomplished. Because you can't do everything alone. Remember, the mastermind principle from out the Think and Grow Rich book was you coming together with 2 or more people working in harmony on one specific goal. How many times does that happen in our communities? People get together and they argue, they bicker, they fuss because of subconscious negative programming, whether you know it or not, that we all have in us. Not to trust one another, to be fearful of one another. All that Willie Lynch syndrome that they put inside of our minds. And you can say you're conscious, I'm above that. No, it affects all of us. It's all a part of the energy field and the subconscious programming that affects us all. Because one thing I had posted this earlier, Marlon, I said to the people that's in my Divine Mind Facebook group, I asked them what can change the black community. And we're not going to get into this, maybe next week. But what can change our communities? And I got a lot of different responses from a lot of intelligent people that's in the group. But one thing that we have to realize is our mindset. We have to change our mind. When we change our mind, we literally will change our world. If we continue thinking the same way we've been thinking, then guess what? Nothing is going to change. We have to switch it up.
Look, and I will say this: I challenge you. I keep my challenge is for everybody to really challenge everything. That's my advice to you. Challenge everything. Don't believe anything.
Don't take anything on face value.
Don't trust nothing we say.
Right.
Don't trust. Don't trust me.
Look it up.
Challenge it. That's the only way you're gonna truly understand who you are, what you really believe, what you feel is true. Challenge everything
and learn how to distinguish the right information from the wrong information.
And if you're afraid to challenge it, then guess what? You really don't believe in it. I'm gonna drop the mic on that one.
Right. You gotta challenge it.
If you are afraid to challenge it, you don't believe in it. I promise you. And that goes for everything.
Right. Just don't accept it because it feels good. Just don't accept it because everybody else around you accepting it. Challenge it. Question it. Seeing that there's an alternative. Critical thinking. Just don't accept everything on face value that comes to you. And especially on social media, especially now that we're in the information age. Because when you pick up that phone, you're bombarded by so much information. All of it is not true. You got to have a way of distinguishing the positive from the negative, the true from the false. You have to use deductive reasoning. You have to be able to reason through all this information, or just leave it alone. Because some of the things, trust me, you don't even need to hear. You don't even need to bombard your subconscious mind.
Right.
So you don't have to waste your time trying to distinguish it and figure it out. Don't even mess with it.
Don't even give it your energy.
Don't even give it your energy. Because once you give it your energy, that means you're not giving your energy to something that you should be giving your energy to, which is yourself, y'all.
Man, listen, I hate this phrase about I'm matching energies. Nah, I'm not dropping my vibration down for nobody. You understand? Overstand.
Right.
I'm not dropping my vibration down for nobody. If you can't come up to my level, or if I can't step up to yours, then we can't talk.
Hang around people where you got to raise your vibration, not lower your vibration. Raise your vibration. That mastermind principle again. Find the best knower, and if you don't know something, find the best knower of that subject matter. Yep. Speak with that person. Converse with that person. Learn something new. Stop hanging with the same people thinking you're going to get a different result, a different conversation.
Don't be afraid to be the dumbest person in the room.
Right. Don't be afraid to go out and do something on your what? On your own, for yourself and by yourself, for the good of yourself and your family. All right?
Most definitely.
All right, but on that note, Marlon, I think that's it.
Yeah, we out of here.
We out of here, y'all.
If like they say in the old church, if all hearts and minds are satisfied, we're gonna adjourn for the day.
Right. If please share this video. Please put some comments if y'all like these videos that we're doing. You know, give us some feedback. I love feedback, positive, negative. You like it, you accept it or reject it, whatever it may be. Give us some feedback.
So look, just a little quick. You know, I always throw this on my brother. You know, at the end. So look, we're thinking about doing a little men's one day seminar type deal with maybe some massages and some Reiki and some talks and stuff like that. You know, if you gentlemen are interested in that, by all means, drop a comment in there as well. We just want to get a nice little head count.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gonna be a nice little men's day for some fellowship, some masterminding, some business talk, some personal talk, just some good men time together. So here again, if you're interested in being involved in that, drop it in the comments. We'll reach out to you when we get everything situated.
Right. And reach out to me if you're looking for any type of services.
Yep.
Hypnotherapy, Reiki. I do a new service, Adjusted Mind Enhancement Coaching. Call and ask me about that. But let's get it popping, y'all. It's a new year. A month has already passed. Look how fast the year is going already. We already in February. We know February is a short month. We're going to be right at spring before y'all know it. You know, get your mind right, get your bodies right, get on your health, wealth, and knowledge of self. All right, y'all?
And happy Black History Month.
All right.
Don't hear much about that anymore, do you?
All right.
Peace.
Yeah, I don't think mine was doing anything. And it's because